So today we will study about the curriculum and its elements. See, curriculum has three elements. One is curricular activities, another is co-curricular activities, and third one is extracurricular activities. Sometimes we are unable to understand what is extracurricular activities, what is co-curricular activities, what is this curricular activities. So, we should make a certain difference between these three, that is curricular activities, co-curricular activities and extracurricular activities. Okay. So, these three activities are no doubt related to our curriculum, but the form of the activity is quite changeable and the nature of the activity is also not matching with the other kind of activities. So, we have classified these three heads, that is curricular activities, co-curricular activities and extracurricular activities. So, we will take one by one. See, the first one is curricular activities. Under this head, following are the main activities: self-study, creative writing, observation, experimentation, work experience and projects, etc. Now, take all the curricular activities one by one with example also. Curricular activities: self-study. Self-study means the content that delivered by the teacher in the classroom. Now, it is the responsibility of a student to go through it and to know more about it, passing through different books or different kind of notes available anywhere in computer or in different aids, different apps also. So, self-study means how far the learner is involved in the study with own self and how far the student is able to search the related content through different galleries. So, this is self-study. So, for example, you have delivered a lecture or you have take a topic in the classroom that is related to your plants or importance of plants, and because due to paucity of time you have shortened your lesson and organized in a way that I can conclude it with the introduction and other things. But after completion of the class, a learner is too much curious to know about the much more plants having the same kind of significance, having the same kind of medicinal values, etc. So, self-study means if a learner involves to know deep knowledge of that particular topic by consulting more sources, that comes under the self-study. So, the bright students or those who are having certain capabilities or having a particular interest in that subject, they try to do. That is my observation being a teacher, that all students are never like to go through the self-study and they only consult the notes, they only like to observe or to note the points of a teacher delivered in the classroom, but self-study makes the students more perfect. So, for example, what they have received in the classroom, now they are modifying it or they are adding it more knowledge and making it to a particular conclusion. So, self-study plays a better role in understanding any content and it has valuable place in this teaching learning process also. So, a teacher must instruct the students to motivate the self-study, because as far as the student is involved in the teaching learning process with own capacities, with own potential, that will help to flourish the talent, that will help to know more about the world. So self-study is very important for every student, and the teacher should guide the students how to make it valuable, because if the student is going through the different sources and nothing getting, so what will happen? That is the wastage of time. So there should be a planned way. This self-study should be in a planned way. 1 hour I have to study this through this source, and after this we will conclude certain points, and we will make a certain kind of results and findings, so that you can make the self-study more beneficial for the students. Creative writing is also concerned with the curricular activities. Here a topic is given to the students. Say for example, in case of literature, a teacher taught a poem in the classroom that gives a message, that is love for mother, and the author says that माओ कहकर बुला रही थी, मिट्टी खाकर आई थी, कुछ मुँह में कुछ लिए हाथ में, मुझे खिलाने लाई थी, मैंने पूछा ये क्या लाई, बोल उठी माँ तुम खाओ, हुआ हृदय प्रफुल्लित मेरा, मैंने कहा तुम ही खाओ. So it's a piece of poem that written by Subhadra Kumari Chauhan, and a teacher presented in the classroom. Now the message is just an interaction, just a communication between mother and child. So this is a kind of interaction that shows love, appreciation and affection between mother and child. So this piece of poem also gives a message to our learners that you can write such kind of piece of poem considering another spot and considering any kind of incidents, any kind of phenomena, and write it in your own words. So this is a kind of creative writing. Creativity is concerned with the intelligence, and every child has certain kind of potential to express himself or always want to say something before all. So it happens that when we don't give opportunity to the learner, these all talent reduces. So in order to encourage the students, in order to make them to flourish the skills and talent of a student, you can give a kind of topic, that this is the topic, Ma or Beti, mother and child, poverty, and other points you may give, that is our environment, hamara paryavaran. So these are the points you write in your own words. What do you want to say about this? So this is creative writing, because I told you that it is related to curricular activities. So keep in mind that what the points, what kind of topics are there, that creative writing should be concerned with the topics or the syllabus of the students. So by exploring your topic in such a way that it should give a lot of more valuable or more spaces to the students, at least he can express or he can write something more about that particular topic. So what is benefit of this? The benefit of this writing is that the student's imagination power strengthens, and more when he is imagining, and more and more he is hypothesizing, more and more he is hypothesizing, he can write and he can create a good piece of literature. So, in order to increase or in order to draw the student attention towards teaching and learning process, it is very essential that a space be given to them to write more on the topic concerned. Observation, say for example, you have performed any experiment in the classroom. Now you instructed the students what you have observed here. So, observation is also a strengthened tool for the research also. So, what he has observed in your experiment, he will write it on the copy and he will explain that the observation is that when you add the acid in X acid in Y acid, then combination of this there was a certain kind of explosion or there was certain kind of another mixed reaction. So, these observation also helps the students to involve in the learning process, and their senses are involved in this process. So, the students become more curious to know more about the experimentation, as well as there is another benefit that the learning, that is learning is for longer time. Learning is for longer time. Say for example, if you do anything with your hands, with your experience, so these all remains in your mind for longer time. So, similar case is there. If the students are standing around the demonstration table, teacher is making certain kind of experiment there and teacher asks that what you have observed here, everyone is curious to know to what happened here and will reply as the scene is there and as he observed. So, this observation is also a kind of curricular activities where the demonstration is required, where the kind of another kind of some experimentation is there, if there is certain kind of findings is there, or so many situations are there where the observation is required. Experimentation is next curricular activities. This experimentation is concerned with the kind of experiment. Say for example, Archimedes principles theory you are going to conclude. So, you have certain kind of trough and there is water, you have two items, one is lighter, one is heavier, and you allow them to do its own. So, what they are doing in the classroom, that experiments gives them another kind of feelings, and they are involved in the teaching learning process. They are curious to know more about the world around us, and they are also able to give the reason correct, because everything is being observed by them. So, they are giving you the correct findings. So, experimentation is also concerned with the skills. If the students having skills to settle all the apparatus and perform the experiment with accuracy, it means he is able or he is having this experimental skills. So, the activities that are being performed in the classroom related to the syllabus of the students comes under the head of curriculum, and the main objective of this curricular activities is to develop the skills and strengthen or empower the students in the particular knowledge that the teacher delivers through verbally or orally. Work experience projects are also example of the curricular activities where the curriculum is being explored or elaborated with the help of different activities by assigning the projects and instructed them and instructed the students with the correct guidelines that what you have to do in this project. After compiling the project, the students present the same project to the classroom, and they share all the experiences with other students also. So, it is a kind of collaborative learning also, and it enjoyable and joyful learning, where all the students are sitting and one student is presenting the report and the students are asking the questions. So, it is a lively and conducive environment in the classroom, and it gives a kind of joyful learning. So, curriculum has the space for such kind of curricular activities. Co-curricular activities, this is also concerned with the curriculum. Academic discussion, debates, participation in symposium, panel discussion and seminar. So, for example, there is a topic in the curriculum on historical movements. So many movements are there, but a particular historical, a particular kind of movement is there, and you want to elaborate this movement. So what will happen? You invited one resource person to discuss this academic discussion, and you invited one resource person to elaborate that particular historical events. So what is this? This is academic discussion. Students are asking the question to the resource person, and resource person is also elaborating, trying to present the situation in a explanatory way, and lot of techniques are there to present these particular events. So academic discussions is concerned with the more elaboration of that particular topic of the curriculum, and you may invite any resource person for that. Students are free to ask the questions to the resource person, and resource persons are also trying to know that what is essential to familiarize with these concepts to the students. So, this is academic discussion. Debates are concerned with the particular topic in favor of or in opposition. So, debates we assign topic related to a particular event or particular phenomena. Then few students deliver the lecture in favor and few in against the motion. So this kind of co-curricular activities also helps to elaborate the topic and to know more about the topic, because the textbook does not consider or does not cover, so rather say does not cover the whole content. But when we are discussing it, when we are trying to elaborating it with own ideas, that is more fruitful for the students. And these all debates, discussions gives joyful learning experiences to the students, and it remains in the mind for longer time. Participation in symposium. Symposium is a kind of also academic event where the discussion, few experts are here, and one topic is analyzed into several sub themes, and every sub theme is being considered and being discussed by the separate assignment, separate allocation of the topic to the resource person. And panel discussion is also the same kind of co-curricular activities where the experts are there and they are discussing on the topic with their own views. And seminar, when one theme is given, this theme is divided into sub themes, and with every sub theme there is discussion in the house, and resource persons and the speaker is presenting the ideas and views as per need of the topic. So, the co-curricular activities may be organized on the current topic, the phenomena or the event that is current. As you have observed that there are so many seminars on National Education Policy 2020. The reason was that we wanted to know more about these all covered in NEP 2020, and resource persons were invited. They were elaborating the topics, they were presenting their views, or they were talking about the future prospects also. So, why we did these all? Because to make it more clear, to make it more familiarized, and to make it more deeper to know about the content of NEP 2020. Extracurricular activities. Extracurricular activities may be concerned to the curriculum and may not be concerned to the curriculum, but it makes the joyful learning to the students, because these extracurricular activities covers field trip, sports meet, celebration of birthdays of national leaders and of national festivals, etc. are extracurricular activities. Say for example, a school organized a picnic and the students are going to visit Agra, to visit Taj Mahal, to visit Fatehpur Sikri, Red Fort, etc. So, this field trip is being organized by the school or by the higher education institution in order to make the learning more joyful. Because every time when the student is in the classroom, they are studying, they are asking, so it is a monotonous pattern. After some time it becomes a monotonous pattern for the students, because slight change in the timetable or schedule, adding other kind of activities, it makes the learning process more joyful and it gives the refreshment to the mind also. So, this field trip is very essential to make the school environment or the institutional environment more joyful, more pleasurable, and field trips gives a kind of different kind of experiences to the students. A teacher is appointed by the head of the department to organize the field trip. How many students will go there and what is the objective of this field trip? Say for example, where you are going, what you will observe there, how can you correlate these all with your academic field or with your curriculum, and what other kind of messages you have received from this kind of monuments and other kind of phenomena that you observed in your field trip. That is also very essential to notice and to make a note on this kind of field trip. And a schedule is fixed by the teacher concerned, and it may be of one day, it may be of more than one day. So, it depends on the situation, but anyhow it breaks the monotony of the teaching learning process, it gives more refreshment to the mind, as well as there is one advantage of this field trip is that there is a collaborative learning, because teacher and taught always remain at a distance in the classroom, but in the field trip they are in contact of each other and in an informal discussion, informal kind of experiences are also there. So, these all make the students more fresh and gives a kind of experiences that they feel enriching and they feel a new kind of dimension in teaching learning process. The students with peer group also having a kind of enjoyment, having a kind of different learning experiences. So ultimately the field trip makes the students more rather say more healthy, and healthy in terms of refreshment of the mind, healthy in terms of the indirect learning experiences that they have received during this field trip. And another is sports meet, because the students having different kind of talents. Our students have different kind of talent. Few students are very good in reading, few students are very good in writing, few students are very good in games, and we have to identify them, and their talent must be flourished, because because whatever the talent they have, this is the responsibility of the institution to make it more richer. And sports meet are also one of the special kind of occasion for the students where they perform whatever they have learned throughout the year. Say for example, if a student has learned every day this boxing, practicing boxing, and this volleyball, this basketball, and badminton, table tennis, so many games are there, and they used to practice every day, going to the stadium, going to the venue where these being performed under the guidance of any instructor. So, what kind of practice they have done throughout the year, now this is the day when they have performed in front of all. So, this kind of sports meet is also a joyful day, a pleasurable day for the students to see the different kind of games, different kind of sports, and to see all the activities with own eyes, and to observe that how parents become also curious that when the sports meet will be there, because I want to see how far my kid, my ward is able to perform this activity or this game, and how far he has been trained in that particular, what is needed improvement. So, these all gives a kind of encouragement to the parents also. So, sports meets are also very essential event for any institution, and sports are very essential to keep yourself healthy and to make your more fresh, and to develop more potential, and to develop more um, a kind of energy that we received from the games and sports meets. So, it is also a kind of essential day, what is the important day for any institution. Celebration of birthdays of national leaders, our student must know that who was our prime minister, and a student should know that the leaders that sacrificed their lives for the progress of the nation, what were their contribution. Every learner should know about these, and we, the teachers, we, the leader of the class must familiarize with them, with the name of the leaders, that what they have contributed and how far their contribution is made us more richer and more richer. We must know them, and we pay our homage to them, and we must follow their philosophies, and we must carry on their legacy in order to make the Indian, in order to make the country more healthy. So, these birthdays of national leader is remembrance of our heroes, our national heroes, remembrance of national heroes with their contribution. This is the only objective of this celebration of birthdays of national leaders and of national festivals, because we have diversity in our country and unity in diversity is our first priority. We, as I told you, social inclusion, cultural inclusion, these all are very important part of curriculum. So the national festivals like Deepavali, Holi and Eid and other Onam, other festivals that we celebrate, that we Indian celebrates to as a mark of our to remember or to sustain our culture and heritage. So these all are essential to celebrate by celebrating these national festivals, and these all are the part of extracurricular activities that is not concerned directly to the curriculum, but it gives a certain kind of joy and certain kind of memories that is essential and concerned with that particular festivals. So it is essential that we should celebrate these national festivals in our schools, in our higher education institution, that all bring all the students in contact of each other. Say for example, one is celebrating Diwali and the other one who is not understand about the Diwali can exchange the ideas. Why do we celebrate this festival? What is the importance of this festival, and how what the message the festival gives to us. So these all kind of festivals give certain kind of messages to our students also. So it is very essential that the diversity that we have in our country, there should be unity in diversity. So these all gives a message through the academic program, and we keep in our curriculum space for these all national festivals and for celebration of birthdays of leaders. A special and a due emphasis is giving to these all, just to realize that we all belong to different culture, but we all are united. So unity in diversity is the basic principle of celebrating these all extracurricular activities in our institutions. So I do hope you have learnt about the this curricular activities, these co-curricular activities and extracurricular activities. So thank you very much to all of you.